news, guys. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, is going to be replaced. So let's talk about it. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is an article from the Daily Mail. Exclusive. Pentagon UFO chief Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick will be replaced by end of the year as whistleblowers accuse him of lying to the public and ignoring witnesses. Yeah, really. The Pentagon's UFO chief will resign by year's end amid a wave of complaints accusing him of making false statements about UFO whistleblowers and fostering an atmosphere of disinterest. 4 major candidates have been interviewed to replace the current director of the Pentagon's UFO office, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, following months of heated public sparring between the former CIA physicist, UFO whistleblowers, and activists. And we'll get more into that in just a minute, but first I just wanted to do a brief exploration of Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and his history with UFO technology and crash retrievals. I've talked before about how Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the lovely, worked or works at SAIC, the massive tech company. Well, apparently he worked there while Bobby Ray Inman was on their board. And you should, probably be familiar with Bobby Ray Inman, but let's go over who he is and his importance to the UFO topic. Here is ex-NASA mission specialist Bob Exler.
Now we are, in this report that we're now going to show, we're going to hear a conversation featuring you. Tell me the context of that conversation.
Well, I had contacted Admiral Bobby Ray Inman, who was the head of the National Security Agency in the United States, Deputy Director at CIA, Director of Naval Intelligence, and a variety of intelligence posts, a technologist, and clearly someone that, if this was really accurate, that there really were UFOs and non-human intelligence around, this is a man who had to know. Mm-hmm. So I was able to contact him thanks to a contact through Admiral Lord Hill Norton here in the UK. And this conversation, he alarmingly not only indicated that these issues were covered under national secrecy laws, but that the United States government did in fact have possession of the hardware associated with this. In other words, this was an actual physical phenomenon. As
a craft, a spaceship.
Several of them, and they were in operational condition, which I assume suggested that they had been in contact, that they had been given these craft for some reason or another, because they certainly weren't crashed vehicles.
Do you anticipate that any of the recovered vehicles would ever become available for technological research outside of the military circles?
Again, I honestly don't know. 10 years ago, the answer would have been no.
Yeah.
Whether as time has evolved, they're beginning to become more open on it, is a possibility.
So there you go. Bobby Ray Inman, a huge muckety muck back in the day, was working with Sean Kirkpatrick. And and so Bobby Ray Inman admitted to UFO crash retrievals and possibly reverse engineering. But according to Bob Exler, some of these ships were intact and in operable condition, hinting that, of course, as I have talked about many times, we are working with the beings. That just seems to be a thing. And we have since the late 50s or 60s, according to my best information. But yeah, it's also of note, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, while he was at SAIC, assuming that he has left, he was an inventor on a patent filed by SAIC titled Holographic Recording and Micro Nano Fabrication via Ultrafast Holographic 2-Photon Induced Photopolymerization. And hats off to Claus, by the way, for digging this up. And here is the patent. You can read all about it, and I will link to it. I don't know enough about science to understand what this is. My wife is a scientist. Maybe I can get her to look at this. So Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick has been heavily involved in high tech, and he has been working with Bobby Ray Inman, who is, like I say, a high muckety-muck in the government, who has been involved in UFO technology for a long time. So Sean Kirkpatrick, he's been around the block, and he is definitely in the control group and is spreading deliberate disinformation. So when he doesn't take David Grush's calls, he's doing that for a reason. And when he goes and says there's no evidence of ET activity, that is just a blatant lie. Okay, back to what happens next. The Pentagon appears to have already made the decision on Kirkpatrick's unnamed successor, according to one former Pentagon official with past involvement in related UFO investigation programs who spoke with the Daily Mail. Now, could that be Chris Mellon? We don't know. Given their public affairs track record, the ex-official said they may not put out anything to the press until well after the change, but who knows? They might surprise us. The personnel shift marks the culmination of months of accusations and counter-accusations traded between Kirkpatrick and former intel officer David Grush. This week, Grush publicly accused Kirkpatrick of lying about the office's efforts to investigate these claims, which had been laid out by Grush last July under oath before Congress. Previously, Kirkpatrick had described Grush's same testimony made before the House Oversight Committee as insulting to the officers of the Department of Defense and Intelligence community. Yeah, I'm sorry we hurt your feelings, Sean, but of course we didn't really hurt his feelings. That was just more disinfo and posturing on Sean's part. But fellow UFO whistleblowers working with Grush, some past and present DoD and intelligence community officers themselves, reportedly don't trust and never did trust Sean, according to an attorney aiding their efforts. They were wise not to trust him. While the precise reasons for his alleged departure remain murky, Dr. Kirkpatrick has faced vehement public criticism in recent weeks from UFO enthusiasts and so-called disclosure advocates seeking government transparency on UFOs and aliens. A citizen's petition calling for Kirkpatrick's immediate removal, hosted by Change.org, has garnered 1,700 signatures since its posting in October. The petition's author, Lisa Fine, accused Kirkpatrick of operating a secret committee which directs the Department of Defense's AARO actions and public statements. About Grush, Kirkpatrick said, "We have extended an invitation at least 4 or 5 times now for Grush to come in over the last 8 months or so, and have been declined." But Grush quickly accused Kirkpatrick of inventing these outreach efforts by his AARO team in their entirety. "I have 0 emails or calls from them," Grush told reporters. That is a lie. Grush also said that he had contacted AARO under oath to Congress. So if Kirkpatrick was right that that had not occurred, then David Grush would be guilty of perjury. So when Kirkpatrick was saying, he declined our phone calls, Kirkpatrick is accusing Grush of perjury. Sean has directly told folks he is leaving by the end of the year, this former intelligence official told the Daily Mail under the condition of anonymity. "I think it's completely a planned departure. He probably gave them a timeline when he took the job," according to this source, citing geographical stress on Dr. Kirkpatrick's family life. "I am sure he's ready to go. I wouldn't read into it any more than that, honestly." So, yeah, I'll link to the article and you can read the rest of it at your leisure. We don't know who the successor will be. Will they be any better than Kirkpatrick? I guess time will tell. We can hope that the motivations behind removing Kirkpatrick would also be motivations to appointing a worthy successor. And by worthy, I mean somebody directly opposite Kirkpatrick, who actually wants transparency. Obviously, my mind goes first Jay Stratton or Lou Elizondo. So either one of those would be aces in my book, but we'll see who we get. Apparently, everything went south when Jay Stratton left the UAP task force. In the interview that I quoted the other day with George Knapp and Dr. Travis Taylor, Jay Stratton says he left because his contract had expired and he had to go back. but that he had gotten in trouble when he was leading the UAP task force for being too proactive, and that his successor did not make that mistake. He didn't push the ball forward at all, and you have to wonder if that was by design. And then when the UAP task force became AARO, Sean Kirkpatrick continued that with gusto. Not just not pushing the ball forward, but rolling it back as much as he could. So it's time for my Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick is leaving AARO dance. Bum 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 bum. Enough? Okay. Of course, I'll be really excited when we know who the successor is and when we see them in action. Are they going to be pro-transparency and actually honest with the American public? Who knows, right? I try to be optimistic. Being pessimistic probably isn't a helpful frame of mind, and certainly there are forces for good in this world, and there are certainly forces for transparency and disclosure in the government and outside of the government. We've seen that time and time again. Sometimes people have to leave the government, like Lou Elizondo, to actually disclose anything, but he was a government official. And so was David Grush. So was Jay Stratton, although he was a civilian, but he had the equivalent of a very high-ranking officer in the military. So yeah, fingers crossed that Sean Kirkpatrick's successor will be better than he was, or is, because he's still there, I guess. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below about all this. Do you think the successor will be any better, or is it going to be more of the same? Is it going to be Sean Kirkpatrick 2.0? Or are we going to get Jay Stratton in there, or Lou Elizondo, or somebody like that who has been more honest with the American people? And it seems more committed to actually furthering this conversation and getting to the truth. Because clearly there's a lot of truth to uncover, as I've just talked about with Bobby Ray Inman. The Bobby Exler information dovetails very closely with what I have seen time and time again from whistleblowers, high-ranking whistleblowers that were in positions to know, saying that, yeah, not only do we have a UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, but we're working with the beings. The Terry Lovelace information says that we have service people aboard giant UFOs assisting in abductions with non-humans. Not my labs, but actual, non-human abductions that humans are assisting with, and likely going off-world. Not the Corey Good sort of secret space program, but some version of that. So the rabbit hole seems to go pretty deep. It's time to start going down that dang hole. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider grabbing a t-shirt. See the link in the description below, or becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars. I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos to check out on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.